there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi. My stuff was acting up. First, VTuber student didn't want to work, and then Arknights started crashing. But you know, that just means I got rid of all my stuff first thing. Nothing else shall break, right? Right? I'm excited for this. Since Kristen was able to go to the sky in 1099, you assume this event takes place after the Trag event, meaning 2 years have passed since then? Ooh. The Columbia Air Expo. But for now, catching up on our operators. Starting off with Rosmontis. She looks so happy and pretty there. Oh, Rosmontis. Bio, basic info, codename Rosmontis, gender female, combat experience 1 year, place of birth Colombia, date of birth July 6th, race feline, height 142 centimeters. Hello. Infection status, crystals have appeared on her body. Infection confirmed by medical examination. Physical exam, physical strength normal, / beep. What's the beep? Mobility, standard, excellent. Wait, why is it standard excellent? Okay. Physical resilience, normal, outstanding. So she can go from normal, standard, and normal to beep, excellent, outstanding. Combat skill. Tactical acumen, standard / minus. Combat skill, normal, standard. Originium art simulation, outstanding / beep. The above results represent the highest recorded performance achieved by Operator Rosmontis and her Originium arts respectively. All examinations pertaining to Rosmontis' Originium arts will be performed outdoors. Profile: Rhodes Island Elite Operator Rosmontis possesses a high aptitude for a rare form of Originium arts, particularly adept at confronting large creatures, destroying hard objectives, immobilizing facilities under emergency, and putting a stop to small-scale skirmishes. Ooh. Oh yeah, Moo can be a good opening. Like, that's a good plan, actually. Potentially. She has been shown to possess a solid control of the battlefield and considerable tactical value in assault, positional, and annihilation scenarios. Under Kelsey's assignment, she is currently active as a core annihilation specialist. All other files pertaining to Rosmontis have been moved to the high clearance database. Oh, you think that's why it's probably acting up? Oh yeah, no worries then. Ooh, SSS rank on Duet Night Abyss's Fox Hunter Summit. Top 5% in all of Light users. Congratulations! Like, dang, top 5%. Clinical analysis. Imaging tests have shown the outlines of some of her internal organs to be indistinct due to abnormal shadows. Originium granules have been detected in her circulatory system. There are signs of a neuropathy infection. Stellar originium assimilation. So it's less than 1%. Or actually, would this be greater than 1%? Interesting how it has a little sign. Blood originium crystal density 0.13. Most currently known internal organ crystallization and originium hyperplasia originate from localized lesions caused by the accumulation of originium particles in the bloodstream. Yes, touch. Your hypothesis is more or less on point. This particular subject can perhaps be called an infected. Oh, it was windy earlier today. There's a wind advisory right now. But luckily when I was going home, it wasn't bad. I hope it's not too bad over there. This particular subject can perhaps be called an infected, but it's hard to say this is neuropathy. The infected organ located in her brainstem isn't natural. That's right, it was an artificial implant. Having referenced Radiant's inspection report, we can say for certain that this device is unmistakably artificial in nature. If just like this particular subject, Spectre's infection was artificially induced, leaving aside the question of how Spectre's immune system is able to fight her originium infection so fiercely. The liquid originium density inspector's cerebrospinal fluid has already reached such a high level that her life is undeniably in danger. We had to resort to all kinds of measures just to prevent her situation from getting any worse, as we naturally should do. Let's look at the experiment that was performed on this particular individual. One of the objectives of this experiment was to figure out how to contain the originium infection and the negative effects it produces. And they managed to pull it off, albeit only temporarily. From the project's inception, their plan was to create an individual who was not afflicted by neuropathy, but is nonetheless uninfected. A caster who doesn't need an arts unit, a master of originium arts who does not need to be trained in its theory. Her infected organs do not exacerbate the originium density in her body in any way. In a certain sense, this individual is as good as not infected. With her life functions still in perfect order, should we really remove this artificial organ? The organ that lets her breathe and swallow and lets her blood flow normally? I'm afraid that we haven't met that requirement. No one has. This experiment is likely impossible to reproduce in the short term. And we are supposed to reverse its results to return her body composition to normal? The Loken water tank laboratory is in shambles. The little research data that they had were all wiped out as well. We will likely never know whether the data was destroyed or successfully retrieved by its sponsor. The lab's actual proprietor would prefer to keep news of this scandal under wraps. The technological companies looking to thrive in the wake of Loken water tank's downfall are likely a dime a dozen, and who doesn't know how many spies there are in the Colombian cities? Loken Williams was a genius, but his ignorance and apathy led to the deaths of many, including his own in the very end. Poetic justice, no doubt. The Mainlander Child Rights Protection Foundation's rescue of the individual from the laboratory, ruins, and their subsequent exfiltration of the country were the result of this board's careful deliberation. They were intent on keeping Loken's research results out of the hands of Colombian companies and interest groups. If the research conducted at Loken was allowed to continue to ferment, it would only result in further instability. This will not be tolerated. They will not allow it. They would rather pretend it happened in the first place. In the end, the girl ended up under my care, perhaps by fate, or perhaps because, along with Loken's mentor, I was the one who ended Loken's life as an neuropathy researcher in Colombian academia. But we both knew it in our hearts that he wasn't going to be stopped by that. It was nowhere close to enough to stop someone who would claim the lives of everyone who walks upon this land for his own benefit. With this, our cooperation with Mainlander came to an end. This would be the final mission ever to be sanctioned by them and carried out in secret by us. This individual, the experimental subject, will forever disappear from Colombia's records. Mainlander doesn't care if she lives or dies. What happens to her from here onwards is up to us. But what would her treatment, the removal of this artificial organ, entail? The damage this has on her system may be minimal. The device does not have a replacement function. It had never crossed their minds to implement such a function. The device has already become a part of the individual. They turned her arts unit into her life source. I don't have the right to ask her to give up her own life. However, ethics is a matter between you and me, not Rhodes Island. Dr. Kelsey. Archive File 1. We've already put together a two-way comparison table. Yeah, she's exactly as she looks. Just a little feeling, girl. There isn't much we can say about that. However, her arts. Well, we stopped holding the tests indoors already, but the data we got from the test before explains a lot. I guess it's not a good idea to talk theories here. I mean, I don't really understand theories myself. The theoretical casters are always talking about stuff like perception reversal and thought impetus. Seems to have to do with cognitive science and neurology, and things I'm bound to never understand. Let's just talk about her arts performance. Right, I mean, there's quite a lot that's classified, and this information is just here to give you the gist. Some of us have started to call her arts her special entity. After all, this is a very fitting and convenient way to describe it. Her arts can stretch out into a wide net, that can detect the movements of objects within its range. The net covers a huge area, and most people aren't aware of her touch. Her arts can also be used on just a single individual. I suppose it's like a big hand. I've tried asking her to keep her arts range to the smallest area possible, but even then, she can only manage to shrink it down to a few square meters. Ooh, so that's sweet. I'm guessing that's because she's trying to grip her target. Aside from that, it doesn't seem that she can use its power on the inside of her target. Even when we gave her a transparent picture, with its innards clearly visible, she couldn't make the picture burst from the inside. All she could do was squeeze it from the outside. This looks even more and more like a flexible, malleable, force-exerting entity. During the test process, still going by that hand and grip imagery, we surmise that she's able to use at most 4 of those large, shapeless hands of hers when her concentration is at its peak. It seems the test results were measured based on her arts activity and deep water testing, both her speed and strength measurements, to go to show that there is tremendous power hiding in her arts. Yet we aren't even able to detect any signs of her using her arts before they break something. Why just 4? And why are they all shapeless hands? Is that how she imagines them? Indeed. When we were examining the deformation of her target structures, we can't help but think that some of the bumps might be the gaps between her fingers. And whether there was a considerable temperature difference, she would also seem to get frostbite or burns when she uses her arts. Neurally speaking, at least, there weren't any apparent symptoms. She would just say, "It's cold," or "It hurts." And based on her cerebral cortex's activity, it's true. The voice in the recording gets softer. I heard an explanation that's kind of out there, even scary. They say her brother still lives within her, and her arts are like her brother reaching out his hands, either hugging the land or pounding it with force. I have no idea who was that first person to say that. It's unsettling. Recording of a field operator, Caster KK. In a way, that's kind of nice. Like, yay, sibling. Thank you for assisting. Ahahaha. Archive File 2. It's been a while since the patient Maylander sent us began her training. I have no idea if this is Kelsey or Outcast's idea, but there's no doubt that she's got better thanks to this. She's not like the other experimentation victims I've seen. They're either always screaming their lungs out, or they've already lost their ability to live and take care of themselves. They're always just curled up in their vessels, trembling. My first impression is that she is from a middle-class family and has received a certain amount of education. But when her mental state is unstable, the destruction she wreaks on the ship is a terrifying sight to behold. She fears laboratories, she hates medical equipment, and even though our equipment is already several times hardier than normal armor, she even manages to lift one up in the air and crushed it into a ball about the size of a fist. I suppose if it wasn't for Logos, all of us would have long been dead several times over. But thanks to that, we now have a pretty good picture of the kind of life she lived. Kelsey has recently requested engineering to renovate some of the laboratories and rehab sick rooms. I also took the opportunity to replace some of the equipment in the testing facilities to give them a more comfortable, warmer feel. And now, she doesn't make quite as much of a scene. Trying to talk to her about what's right or wrong isn't going to do us much good. She's a very sensible kid to begin with. She demonstrates a kind of mental sickness not dissimilar to memory loss. Sometimes, she even forgets her professional knowledge. Nonetheless, we found that reinforcing her knowledge bit by bit is effective. Touch speculates that she hasn't actually forgotten, she's merely sealed her memories. We think that this might have to do with the device in her brain. Or perhaps, this is the result that she wanted, and her arts helped her achieve that. Her arts definitely isn't as simple as a kind of telekinesis. Her past torments her, and that's why she's trying to erase her memories. But she also isn't able to control the strong, unorderly emotions left over. It's a mess. Then, she gets upset that she's forgotten again, and gets anxious and confused because of that. She gets distressed for not meeting our expectations, even though we'd be more than willing to cheer her on and help her. She will still blame herself. At the very least, it's not possible for us to retrace her participation in the experiments. She has practically dug her entire brain out. It's a violent way to go about it, almost like she sealed herself away. Her Amnesic symptoms might even be side effects of this behavior. Her cognitive ability is being exhausted by herself relentlessly. My guess is her artificial organ is using it up to deal with her ongoing stress. I think she needs a recorder. I will make her a terminal, one that's easy to type on. That way, she can go over her notes whenever she wants, dig up those scenes and dialogues she wants, and restore her emotions back to the truths in her head, and reorganize them. Just like giving a movie its dialogues back. Once she asked me why I wouldn't let her wear shoes in the room. As I explained the safety side of it, I also thought of borrowing a pair of shoes from Amiya for her to wear when she leaves the cabin. Amiya came over herself, she even brought with her a new pair of shoes, and were they not a perfect fit? The two kids were fast friends. Amiya was very skilled at comforting her. Oh, it's nice bringing the shoes. Yeah, we never got the details of her experiments during the Lone Trail. Only the effects of it. Though interesting how they describe it as multiple hands. Up to 4 hands if she concentrates enough. I thought to myself, that was the moment the patient's life truly began instead of some point in the past. There are still lots of mysteries surrounding her, but what does any of that matter? Kelsey said that she'll put up a poll for the casters and medical elite operators after a while. I'm in engineering, so I'm not voting, but if I had a vote, I would probably vote to let her stay on the island. If what she needs is someone to guide her through her stress, to teach her how to control her arts, then we're the right men for the job. Indistinct personnel records found inside a folder. I vote keeper. Archive File 3. Elite Operator File. Number 1, infected. Number 2, personality. A strong sense of togetherness, proactive. Number 3, information pertaining to identity, Columbia. Partnership status, disastrous event, agreement terminated. Infected, protected. Experimental subject, further disclosure of information forbidden. Number 4, information pertaining to infected status. Attachment, understanding, protective. Number 5, strategy summary. Core of her squad, annihilation, focused. Number 6, B possibility, medium. Number 7, type B events, allowed, as carefully supervised. Number 8, mobilization authority granted, Kelsey Amiya. Newly granted, Doctor. Archive File 4. Loken water tank isn't the source of the problem. When it all happened, Loken was likely under a lot of pressure. Otherwise, knowing his personality, he would not have made such a gamble. I'm not trying to defend him, but by trying to dissect his actions, I might also be able to verify a few of my viewpoints. My guess is that he urgently needed some test results that supported his hypothesis, either to get his hands on some resources, to maintain his position, or to preserve his project. Loken implanted this artificial organ in this particular subject only because his research had to do with the infected. If his research was in the bionics, then no matter how many of her organs ended up getting replaced, the subject would not have even the tiniest traces of neuropathy. The subject and her brother were dragged into this mess only because they had a somewhat unique gift in Originium Arts. Their adoption after their family was destroyed, their fraudulent guardian, the corrupt orphanage all played a hand. I won't rule out the possibility. Maylander's report clearly says that Loken murdered her brother to fulfill his experiment's objectives. The direct cause of the incident was that the consciousness that he forcefully extracted from her brother activated her infected organ. Oh, so that's how the brother went down. What the heck, Loken? Whether this is purely a product of her imagination, or is indeed just like what was reflected by the errors in the scans, it's eerie, I know. But her brother might still exist somewhere in her brain. She probably doesn't want to know about this yet. This stems from her subconscious refusal, or perhaps it's the wishes of her brother. Her brother probably just wants to protect her. Excessive theoretical neuroscience interests me not. Such experiment was entirely profit-driven. Its data was tainted by blood. This kind of data can only be used to back theories that support war and violence. We don't need that. Loken water tank has been under the table for long. The fact that the laboratory of its size was able to direct such deep, inhumane crimes just goes to show how far down this road of privilege Colombia's scientific research has come. Compared to Ursus and Sargon, Colombia's laws are no doubt more advanced and stringent, but how severe the law is has nothing to do with how many crimes have gone unpunished. It actually is. Both the ones who enforce the law and those who administer it are only people. A progressive society carries the burden of being even more civilized. That's how fate befell her, just simply because they needed her to be infected. They wanted her to have those powers, being able to expand her arts casting by way of compressing her consciousness. Perhaps it was Volvort Koczynski or Rhine Lab. And it's a bit of a stretch, but it could also have been pharmaceutical companies like Parasol or Tower Mountains. But in any case, it doesn't matter who Loken Water Tank's benefactors were. Whoever they are, there's an even bigger disaster waiting for them sooner or later. I hope these kind of experiments wouldn't happen as often now. So the votes results. My guess is that there are 2 votes against. Logos agreed as well, didn't he? No, I'm not surprised. You may think that he doesn't care about anything other than the Casdale fairs, but if that was the case, he wouldn't have agreed to become an elite operator in the first place. It's just like those 2 to vote no. Pith was against it, and I suppose it's only natural. I'll persuade them, of course. You guys practically forced this one on me, right, Touch? You guys voted yes. You guys should be the ones to persuade them. I'm merely trying to speed things up. My reason for doing this? I was giving her a checkup this morning, and she asked me if I remember what her name was. She wants to know what she used to be called. She's slowly trying to face her past, even if it's already ruined her once. Or perhaps she should get a new name. If our cities and our residents are truly more advanced than the bloodthirsty barbarians of ages past, then we must at least prove that our personalities have improved. Preventing science from being used to harm the innocent is also a responsibility of mine. Perhaps it's still too early to give her a name. She should come up with her name herself. But we can give her a codename right now. I believe that becoming an operator, her future, as well as that part of the world itself, will become that much brighter. Now that all of you agreed, I promise I will teach her. She will still become your family, your teammate. She can do it. In the old mythologies, there exists a miraculous plant that helps those who cannot face their memories to be brave and courageous. From here on out, her codename will be Rosmontes. Oh, I'm guessing that's the plant. Well, that's a sweet backstory for how she got her codename in that case. A miraculous plant that helps those who cannot face their memories be brave and courageous. Promotion record. Will she ever return to a normal life? What makes a life normal anyway? Is it the tatters woven from leaves that settlers of the wilderness wear? Or is it fine Lithuanian garments woven with arts? The sour bean soup that sells for 3 cents a bowl in the Colombian slums. I want to try that. Or the dozens of lavish dishes served at the banquets of a county of Victoria? Each and every person born in this world is shaped by the environment they grew up in. You would have to be biased, arrogant, and completely ignorant to believe that there is a certain kind of life you could call normal. You should trust this girl and nothing more than the girl herself. Give her time. Wait for her to puff her chest out, her head held high. The decision she makes and the future she wants to achieve. That's her normal life. That's what you call a normal life. It's that simple. You're her world. However you treat her, that's how she'll treat this world. Waitsmith. Must protect the Rosmontes. Poor Rosmontes. Notes. Outcast, I'm a little concerned. After returning from the Chernobyl core city, Rosmontes has been carrying out her missions with extreme aggression. The human traffickers in Minos are indeed despicable, but they fall under Minoan jurisdiction. The original plan can only call for us to rescue the infected children, not eliminate the suspects. Isn't it normal to adjust mission objectives in our line of work? Pith, you ought to trust Rosmontes' judgment. Have you heard? Surviving witnesses refer to her as a scourge of Minos. Fortunately, the girl herself doesn't remember any of it. Touch says that she's forgotten all details of the mission by the time she returned to the ship. I'm not sure her brain will manage to derive any worthwhile experience in the whole thing. Memories aren't always useful experiences. Sometimes, they can be heavy burdens. Since her opinions aren't colored by her own prejudices, and she isn't hemmed in by the community consensus, Rosmontes might be even more impartial than we are. She's like a mirror that can't be stained, reflecting the morality of the situations around her. That's why Kelsey wants us to guide her together. Even if her actions reflect our values, Rhodes Island won't be with her whole life. Once we're gone, who can judge the mirror itself, whether she's good or evil? She's awake now, Pith. We can ask her ourselves. Hello, Outcast. Hello, Rosmontes. Are you leaving, Outcast? Yes, I'm off to Victoria for a little something, but Pith is right. I'll be gone. Kelsey will be gone too. And someday we'll all be gone. Will Amiya be gone too? Could be. Nobody knows the future. Judge Rosmontes, your little honor. Can you look after yourself for us? Yes, I promise. I promise everyone that I'll write everything down. I remember the stories you and Pith told me. I won't forget. I can do it. You and Pith don't need to worry. If I ever turn bad... No matter what I become in the future, I'll document it all. I'll look over it carefully. The last one I will judge will be me, myself. Aww. Outcast was a good mentor. Like, dang. Like, sad? Oh, you wonder what Sari is doing regarding Rhyme Lab? Rosmontes' specialized badge. In light of permissions granted, the Field Operator's Department has hence passed the following resolution with respect to Rosmontes, where the entailing mission would fall under Integrated Strategies scope. This operator shall be pursuant to tactics of a reinforced nature. In meeting the enemy, in witness thereof, this badge is hereby conferred upon the above named. I will be the judge. Who will be in the control section as the director now? Well, she did trust Nasty. So I feel like there's hope for Nasty. And now, hello, Silence. Oh wait, Nasty's in the engineering section. Dang, never mind then. Yeah, not sure who's gonna be the director then. For control anyways. Now basic info. Or for file, basic info, codename Silence. Gender female, combat experience none. Place of birth Colombia. Date of birth May 18. Hello. Race Liberi. Height 154 centimeters. Infection status, crystals have appeared on her body. Infection confirmed by medical examination. Physical exam, physical strength normal. Mobility normal, physical resilience normal. Tactical acumen standard, combat skills standard. Originium art assimilation, excellent. Profile. Silence was an Originium researcher at Rhyme Lab, LLC. She was involved in several unknown applied research projects as well as several clinical trials on earpathy. She now provides battlefield medical treatments to Rhodes Island. Clinical analysis, imaging tests have shown the outlines of her internal organs to be indistinct due to abnormal shadows. Originium granules have been detected in her circulatory system, confirming her to be infected with earpathy. Hello. Cell Originium assimilation, 6%. Patient has ore lesion located in the upper left thigh. Blood Originium crystal density, 0.24. Patient does not exhibit high blood Originium crystal density. Infection is relatively stable at this point. Originium complications. Patient's race is predisposed to heavy sleep patterns that are largely reversed from those of other species. Patient's infection has interrupted the regularity of her sleep patterns. Interesting how it affects her sleep. Archive File 1. An outstanding researcher, Silence is as meticulous as her peers. She has a keen eye for detail and single-minded execution. Once she begins an experiment, she runs through the process like a precision machine, flawlessly seeing it through to the end. Her rigorous approach to the scientific method has earned her great acclaim, but the staff under her just as commendable. But when it comes to interpersonal relationships, Silence is not so gifted, particularly when it comes to dealing with crowds. For example, when attending a party, she has a tendency to live up to her name. This is not to say that she is universally introverted, though. She draws energy from the serenity of intense concentration. This simply led to her being more comfortable observing her surroundings in peaceful silence. She is known for her patience and eagerness to listen to fellow researchers. Silence is happy to discuss any scientific research questions from any and all angles. When someone encounters an obstacle in the scientific method, she will hear them out before providing a well-thought-out answer. Still, as busy as she is in the laboratory, most people don't get to see the communicative side of Silence, except those select few who participate in her research. All the experiments are terrible. Like, I feel really bad for Osmontes. Like, holy cow. And her brother. Her poor brother. Archive File 2. The valuable intelligence that we have concerning Silence all comes from her contributions to the medical and life science fields. As a result, every piece of intelligence about her explores the company she used to work for, Rhine Lab. The specific time and duration of her tenure at Rhine Lab is unpublished. The current most reliable information comes from Silence's own writings about her experiences, as well as other aspects of her life. According to her recollection, Silence's relationship with Rhine Lab and Originium began during her days as a student, when she accompanied her mentor to the company. At the time, Rhine Lab was holding a scientific exhibition to show off the results of its research from a tour of Colombia. The new medical equipment she saw optimized Originium transmission efficiency based on how new results obtained from live trials, making possible a whole new generation of dazzling treatments. After completing her studies, Silence's wish came true and she was allowed to join Rhine Lab as an employee. She had an extraordinary talent for Originium arts, and soon got the opportunity to participate in several experimental projects related to important Originium technology and clinical treatment. But as well as her career was going, and as much as the upper levels of the company recognized her achievements, Silence never forgot her original dream, to join the Originium Technology and Life Science Applications Project. I never thought the opportunity would come so soon. Looking back on this time, Silence let slip a sly smile. Archive File 3. The medical drone designed by Silence and produced by the Rhodes Island-based construction department fully reflects Silence's philosophy as a doctor. The drone was designed to be unpretentious as well as highly affordable. Ooh, highly affordable. It was not fitted with a weapon. Instead, its only designated function was to provide timely treatment for operators on the battlefield. Medicine has undergone several rounds of testing by the Rhodes Island pharmaceutical team, can be assembled into the drone's kits in a variety of ways. The drone can use aerosolized medicine, it can spray, it can inject, and it can simulate a medic's treatment wand. It can switch between these modes depending on the needs of the terrain and the environment, and the specific situation of the operator in need of healing. However, this medical drone is still in its experimental stages. Because it needs to be lightweight and convenient, it needs to be a kind of throwaway and relatively fragile low-value target. Additionally, in areas with strong signal interference and complex terrain, its efficiency will be affected to a certain degree. Even so, it still provides Rhodes Island operators with quality treatment. Better still, this is only the first gift that Silence has brought to Rhodes Island. Archive File 4, Classified Log. Let's pick up where we left off. Last time we talked about Rhine Lab's technological exhibition. Yes, you said that exhibition made a big impact on you. That's right, with regard to life, that exhibition gave me a whole bunch of new insights? Questions. I don't understand. I wanted to know how life came about. How did it form in this land? Indeed, scholars have yet to produce a unified theory on this matter. But what does this have to do with Originium? Why has Originium infected the human life on this continent? I'm not sure. I'm not sure either. That's why I couldn't wait to join Rhine Lab. Go on. I thought about it afterwards, and the one that shocked me the most was one of Rhine Lab's business exhibitions. After joining Rhine Lab, I realized that their most subversive product was still locked deep within the lab, resting on a proposal document. They couldn't bring it out, not for the people, not for the existing order, and not for this land. Perhaps it's still too soon. Yes, it's still too soon. But once the right person comes along, a person with the right ideals, or should I say, ambitions. Do you mean? Heh heh. Alright, you already know too much. Is that referring to like the spaceship or something else? I wonder what she's referring to. And now for the emergency self-defense procedures. You want me to add a self-defense module to your medical drones? Outside the Lutra workshop, Magdalene stares wide-eyed at Silence, as if she's looking at a seaborn flopping about in the middle of a great tundra. Would it be strange? Not really if you think about it. I just never imagined it, that's all. I figure you'd rather improve its healing efficiency, or efficacy, or maybe durability. I probably would have thought along those lines in the past, yes. Magdalene doesn't say anything. She may spend her days in the tundra year in and year out, but that doesn't mean she's completely clueless about Rhine Lab's internal... Oh no, what happened? Why did it kick me out? Oops. Well, let me just... Eh? That was first? Okay, let me try this again. Let's see if it makes me... Try to log in proper... Oh wait, no, it's working. Oh, okay, never mind. So weird. Okay. Time to go back to... her badge. Okay. Magdalene doesn't say anything. She may spend her days in the tundra year in and year out, but it doesn't mean she's completely clueless about Rhine Lab's internal affairs. I initially wanted nothing more than to be a researcher. I sought to thoroughly analyze the relationship between Originium and life, and I assumed that I'd pry open the boundaries of knowledge with my own two hands. But following a string of incidents, I could no longer ignore this. As long as my research doesn't change course, I will never be able to completely exclude the human perspective. Oh, you really hate this event gimmick? Oh no! How bad is it? Before I started a new job, I first needed to stand in the shoes of a doctor, from where I could examine my own dreams and ambitions. The most basic respect you can afford someone, as I see it. Those drones, then, are the crystallization of my ideology. The two inadvertently share a glance towards the workshop, mirrors inside racking her brains. Entering hastily was very liable to get you bitten. Speaking as a layman in medicine, I think these drones are already perfect as an extension of a doctor's hands. Perhaps. But I've increasingly come to realize that merely serving as a doctor is still not enough. So far, everything is flying. Ah, great. Silence's expression is complicated. She lightly touches her hair. Humans are far more complex than Originium. We can roughly determine Originium activity from its surface appearance. We can project the ETA of catastrophes from natural phenomena. We can avoid infection through highly effective protective measures. But how do we determine a person's interior life from what's visible to us? Do falling figures signify deterioration or improvement? Are people with crossbows ultimately there to defend or to kill? Just like a snowfield that seems perfectly quiet. Magdalene murmurs to herself. Yes, just like a snowfield that seems perfectly quiet. Therefore, I need tougher measures so that when the snowfield finally bares its fangs at me, I can protect the people I should be protecting. Defense is very good. I say as I go for offense. Now first, the other silence. Silence, the paradigmatic. Bio. Basic info. Codename Silence. Gender female. Combat experience none. Place of birth Colombia. Date of birth May 18. Race Liberi. Height 154 centimeters. Infection status. Crystals have appeared in her body. Infection confirmed by medical examination. Physical exam. Physical strength normal. Mobility standard. Physical resilience normal. Tactical acumen excellent. Combat skill standard. Originium assimilation excellent. Profile. Sponsor the Tri-Mounts Ethics and Scientific Research Joint Declaration, and Executive Advisor to Ryan Labs Components Control Section, now cooperating with Rhodes Island in medical matters. She has extensive clinical experience in medicine and provides medical support to Rhodes Island as she receives neuropathy-related treatment. After the Furnace Fables, you realize what kind of being Ifrit became after her experimentation? Originally a Cabernet, but then she became a hybrid Sarkaz after taking a Diablo Shard. Yeah, it might be the essence of the Diablo King of Sarkaz. Ooh, the bestie. Clinical analysis. Imaging test shows that indistinct outlines of internal organs, obscured by abnormal shadows, originium granules detected in the circulatory system. The subject is confirmed to be infected with uropathy. Cell originium assimilation, 7%. Patient has oral lesion located on the upper area of her left ankle. The spread has just slightly increased in size compared to when the patient first joined Rhodes Island. Blood originium crystal density, 0.25. Originium granules in the patient's circulatory system have just slightly increased in density compared to her initial test results, but her condition is currently stable. Archive File 1. Silence did not return to Rhodes Island with Dr. Kelsey and the doctor. She spent a month in Tri-Mounts before returning to the landship. On her return, she immediately had a long chat with Dr. Kelsey that lasted an entire afternoon. Sheesh! And after some simple handover procedures, someone replaced her in the medical department. The reason is simple. Her current focus is based in Tri-Mounts, and it's left her no spare time to stay on Rhodes Island for extended periods of time as she did in the past. As a core member of the medical department, Silence has played an important role in various missions ever since she brought Ifrit to Rhodes Island. She has the trust of many patients, and while she was tidying up her desk, they and her colleagues found out about the news and ended up getting together for an impromptu farewell party. Of course, it doesn't mean that Silence is leaving Rhodes Island for good. She herself has directly expressed that she is willing to continue cooperating with Rhodes Island. However, her new position prevents her from interacting with Rhodes Island in a personal capacity. As a sponsor of the Tri-Mounts Ethics in Scientific Research Joint Declaration, an executive advisor to Ryan Labs Components Control System. Good for her, executive advisor. To Ryan Labs Components Control Section, she has the entire Colombian scientific community behind her back. So working with her now will also bring a complicated connection to Colombia, which Rhodes Island wants to avoid. Silence is on the same page and proposes a solution. She hopes to continue her uropathy treatment on Rhodes Island. This approach would not only let her contact Rhodes Island in a personal capacity as a patient, but also unofficially leave room for any potential future cooperation. No doubt this is her way of showing kindness to us. Likewise, we also wish to continue this cooperation with her present self, though we have confirmed that one thing while settling the matter. The Silence today is indeed no longer the same as her past self, who was devoted to medicine. No wonder why she went from medic to supporter. Archive File 2. Rylan went through a complete reshuffling after the incident. Saria picked a defense section member to replace her and officially resigned from her section director position. Jara also picked up a human resource investigation section member to replace her and officially resigned from her section director position. With Parvis's passing, a leading figure in the relevant Colombian academic circles became the new structural section director. The energy section director post was left vacant for almost 2 months before Ferdinand returned to reassume his position. These might sound like completely normal adjustments, but the next two have practically foreshadowed the upcoming changes Ryan Lab will face. Kristen resigned from her position as control, and Saria, as co-founder, took over her place as component control section director. Well, Silence, a former researcher from structural, transferred to component control. She now acts as an executive advisor for that section, while also serving as Ryan Lab's representative on the Scientific Ethics Consensus Committee. Silence has now both Trimonts and the entire Colombian scientific community watching her. The Trimonts Ethics and Scientific Research Joint Declaration. She accurately points out the negligence and abuse of ethics in science by both scientists and their organizations. It also advocates advancing science while enriching the soil it takes root in to create a more humane environment for scientific research. The Consensus Committee on Scientific Ethics is another result of that declaration. Members will maintain the presence of ethics in scientific research, as well as strive to further improve the current standards. It goes without saying why it's so important to have Silence on the committee as Ryan Lab's representative. Of course, Silence was previously just the researchers, and could not have gotten the position without the support of others. Those perceptive thoughts can even see the various powers behind her wrestling for power. Silence's response to this was brief but striking. I will accept these chains if they are the only way to fulfill my wishes. Archive File 3. Silence shared with the doctor what she went through. Yeah, so Sari became Controls Director. Yeah. Like, I guess she wanted to step up. And having Silence as her... like, as a person with her is really good too, though. Like, Silence is a good advisor. Good support. After rescuing Sari from the wreckage of the HRR, she returned to Trimonts with her and Ifrit to settle them down. Afterwards, Jara got in touch with her. Jara told Silence that she could help her out one last time before she retired. Silence had the opportunity to meet the Tin Man, one of the people behind the Maylander Foundation. She knew what that meant. She would be directly talking to the force influencing the country. The only issue was whether she felt she was truly ready yet. I decided to take the chance, but I'd never expected to find someone else in the office other than the Tin Man, Mr. Jackson. The Vice President of Columbia greeted her with a confusing warmth, but she also realized it was an opportunity regardless. She elaborated that to the two of them, her views and conclusions on the Ryan Lab incident, and was surprised to have Jackson's eager approval. Mr. Jackson said that I was one of Columbia's indispensable talents. I might have believed that in the past, but at that moment, my first instinct was terror. Everything went as smoothly as it should after that. Silence knows that it was not due to the greatness of her ideals, but that she just happened to be there. Someone else would have taken her spot anyway if she had refused. But she knew at least that taking that position would let her genuinely realize her ideals that so many others saw as simply hot air. I know what I'm up against. Sasari is indispensable to both Ryan Lab and to me. Ryan Lab losing their control was akin to losing their backbone. And at this point, only Sari's reputation as a co-founder could assure everyone that everything was going to be fine. After all, no one wanted Ryan Lab to fail or to fall. To Silence, her past grievances have now become insignificant. It was more important to figure out how to face the future. She knows that what Saria needs is time, so she handed over that responsibility of Ifrit's guardianship to her. She trusts that her beliefs held no fundamental contradictions, that they will eventually end up on the same path. Of course, the pursuit of ideals has always come at a price. An obvious one Silence has to pay was Ifrit's annoyance. It's interesting that Silence is, in a way, in the same position as Saria once was. For Controls Director, the difference between the dynamic between them and Then now, the current dynamic is that their intentions align compared to Kristen and Zarya. So this is a good change. From Ifrit's point of view, life seems to have been flipped upside down. Zarya has now become her guardian, while Silence is the one who's hard to meet. When asked about the situation, Silence pondered for a moment, but said nothing as a bitter smile emerged on her face. Like, sorry, Silence has to work a lot now. Sorry, Ifrit. Arca File 4. I heard someone say recently that Silence has a higher position now, and acts differently from how she used to. Silence seems to feel that way too. That she isn't as pure as before. Humph, they don't get her at all. It's true that she has a ton of meetings to go to, and many people to meet, so she can't be a doctor like before anymore, but she still cares about my condition whenever she comes back and tells me about any relevant developments in medical technology. Last week, she made a special trip to medical when she returned to the landship to have a long chat with Warfarin about the latest advancements, and they even did some lab experiments together. After that, she went to all her ex-patients to have a brief chat with them too. Silence hasn't changed at all. She just got too busy and is too tired to treat everyone as gently now. Also, it seems like many of the other doctors have been even more attentive to me because they're afraid of me getting angry over Silence being gone. I mean, Silence always stopped me from seeing Zarya, saying I was young and I didn't know a thing, so of course I'd be angry. But now I know what she's working on in Trimonts, and she tells me about everything that's going on with her and the place whenever she comes back to eat with us. I can already understand some of the things she and Zarya talk about, and I know she's doing some awesome stuff, so obviously I won't get mad. I'm not a kid who wanted her to be with me all the time anymore. I've been the captain of a few field missions now, and I know being a leader means taking on even more responsibilities. Silence never wanted to do it before, but since she wants to now, I should support her decision. That's why I've been studying real hard recently. I'm gonna be real. I had no clue Zarya was such a good teacher, but the medical department courses are crazy difficult. Anyway, my dream is to stand together with both Zarya and Silence. If the three of us were together, no Parliamentara will be a match for us. Ifrit's diary. I believe in you, Ifrit. You got this. Like, that's cute. You see Silence putting the yellow tape for no crossing the line, and then those two do. Wait, and then those who do have to deal with a thick wall. Sorry. And heck, Ifrit could be watching from a distance too, just ready to pounce as well. Promotion record. After spending the entire day in meetings, Silence finds herself inadvertently walking towards the structural section laboratories. A familiar colleague calls out to her, and seems to want to give her a pat on the shoulder, but instead his arm just hovers awkwardly in midair. Did you come to learn about our current experiments? I submitted the ethics review to Defense just 2 days ago. But since you're here, would you like me to show you around? No need to trouble yourself, Albert. I know my way around the lab. I know my way to the lab. Ha ha ha. Good to hear. Then, take it easy. I'll head off first. Yeah, see you. Oh, by the way, the experiments you left behind, as well as the data. Lammy and I just wanted to know if you'll ever come back? Silence's colleagues in the medical department had also asked her a similar question when she left the Rhodes Island landship. What a pity. She reads the same unspoken words in their eyes. Silence thinks of the drafts locked in the drawers of Zarya's study. It had been almost a decade, and they're probably no longer fit to publish. Scientific research is a brutally competitive field, and her time is limited. It will be a challenge to stay on the forefront, even if she tries her best to keep up. Was this the right choice? Perhaps. She will still be tortured by her self-doubt and uncertainty in the future. When all the structural researchers have left the building, Silence stands up from her familiar lab table and turns off the lights as she's done many times before. She stands in front of the corridor leading to every Rhine section department. The lights always on and bright, just as they always have. She's so busy. Hard to keep awake. Oh my goodness, look at that cup. It's adorable. The little Ifrit face on it. And all the coffee beans. In front of her is her new office. 2 guards in defense flank her while carrying her luggage. As is standard for a VIP escort. Yes, now she too is a very important person. Ah yes, the VIP. I've seen some of the new Azure Lane skins, so, but not super up to date. It's on the floor directly below controls, sprawling with all manner of administrative and executive offices. Not that she's at all a stranger to this place, but today, it suddenly hits her that the AC is a little chilly, that her shoes are very loud against the floor, and that the looks of the others give her are harshly incisive. She voluntarily lets out a sigh. From behind, one of the defense employees looks at her and sees someone who has begun worrying about the future of Rhine Lab the moment she assumed her post, and he can't help but feel a level of respect for her. Yep, that's skydive. At the precise moment, his terminal rings. It's a notice. He quietly says a few words in response and hangs up. What's going on? It's nothing. Apparently someone sent something through engineering's lines. My colleagues are tracing it down, so no need for you to worry. In short order, they arrive at the office. The defense personnel spend a few seconds operating the door like second nature, then give her the universal hand sign for go ahead. Authenticated. Welcome. Components Control Executive Consultant Olivia Silence. She opens the door and enters. The defense personnel place her luggage on a coffee table, then take their leave at her nod. She surveys her surroundings. A large standard office, so empty that Ifrit could misbehave all she wants in here, with the room to spare. You don't think you could play AL in public if you had skin? Before she can let out an even deeper sigh, the door behind her opens and shuts again with no warning. Was there anything else? She's suddenly compelled to swallow what she was saying. For a visitor is not a person, but amiibo? Yes, in front of her, without a doubt, sits one of Mayor's proud works. It's carrying a bag on its back containing a pouch of coffee beans, a mug, and an accompanying letter. She opens it. It's Mayor's handwriting. I love the doggo. It's so cute. Boy, have I been wondering what kind of gift to give you. Joyce told me that she was gonna go for coffee beans and Eureka, so I remodeled one of my Meeboos a little. You left while I was still working on it, and I was going to mail it to you, but then Components Control said that you'd already had a mountain in your inbox, and just the ETA inspection was half a month, and I'm not waiting that long, so I borrowed engineering's lines a little. There's a knock at the door. Damn it, thinks Silence. If they find this Meeboo, she lifts her head and sees it jump onto her new desk, and through a series of elaborate transformations, morph into a coffee machine. Oh dang! The same defense employee as before enters apologetically. Sorry, Miss Silence. Whatever was sent through the pipeline apparently arrived here. Is there anything in your office that, can I ask what? It's just a coffee machine, Silence replies, shooting from the hip. But it was a gift from my friend to celebrate my promotion. Is something the matter? Silence says, picking up the beans and pouring them into the Meeboo, before attempting to pour herself a practiced cup of coffee. It should be this button, she imagines. Oh, wonderful, she got it right. Understood. As long as there's nothing out of the ordinary, excuse me. Suspicious no longer, the defense employee turns and leaves. She lets out a third sigh, this time of relief. Right. The letter kept going. I already told you that farewell. I already told you at the farewell, but you know, might as well tell you one more time. Congrats on the promotion, Silence. I promise I'll swing by next time I'm back at HQ. She feels herself relax a little. Some things have changed, that much is true, but the other things feel like they'll never change at all. And with this coffee machine around, she shouldn't have trouble staying awake at least. This is my favorite module right now. I love this, the Meeboo. That is adorable. Controllable momentum. By the time Silence returned from the committee office to components control, there was already a completed project plan outlining the construction of a new observation station and SHAFT system and drag on her desk. Ah, drag, huh? Yeah, she's definitely dedicated. After the crisis that shocked everyone involved, after the expedition that drew all of Terra's attention, someone had once again proposed an invitation to the distant sky. This was bound to happen. Silence knew this day would come. After all, the stars are right there, and there was bound to be someone curious about her. Silence spots the sharp signature on the documents, made by the last person to have them. 1 month ago, this project was just one among the many proposed in the director's meeting. Afterwards, Components Control Acting Director Sari did not consult Silence on the project, choosing instead to proceed with it as usual. Silence is unsure which of these choices Sari would have found harder to make. Silence is well aware that the project costing tens of billions of Colombian gold certificates cannot truly begin without her own signature, not to mention the complex and innumerable procedures to follow. Such was the authority granted to her by the city and the country, the weight of which seems almost unreal. So, should she sign it? Trag, a name that is rarely brought up in Colombia, usually calls to mind the image of a snowy mountain, based on the data occasionally brought back by teams from the Scientific Investigation Section. Establishing an observation station there was bound to attract too many eyes to that country known for standing aloof from worldly affairs. But that aside, was the Ryan Lab of today even ready to take such a big step? Yes. Political games and military ambitions. Who can say that a mere scientist wouldn't be dragged into the next maelstrom of disputes between the two? What can be done to ensure the situation does not slide into the abyss of violence? No matter how perfect the rules, loopholes are inevitable. Every step forward science takes is an arduous effort. But things other than science must also factor into the equation. Ooh, and what Ryan Lab means to her. Were science now compared back then? You think it's a second chance for her? Like, I think she just wants to... She wants to improve things, like... So yeah, it'd be like a second chance, for sure, but... She definitely wants to improve, of course, ethics. Because holy cow, all the stuff that happened to the others. Like, Ifrit, prime example. She wants to make sure that kind of thing never happens again. Like, I respect that. Wait, the skin isn't the lucky bag for $30. It's the only event skin not in it. Oh, wow. Ooh, and the most expensive skin at 1680 gems are about $22. Dang. There are too many factors to worry about. Only now does Silence understand that, with the power she holds, it is far more difficult to affirm that than to reject. She has already come up with many reasons to delay or even outright refuse to greenlight the project. But there's only a single reason to approve it. Choosing to stand against radical ideas does not mean standing against science. More importantly, someone needs Silence by her side. Humanity is rightly entitled to venture towards the future, and there's no perfect solution to the structural conflicts between different groups of people, but she can only choose to place her hopes on individuals. Silence looks out the window. The skies of Trimonts are clear tonight, and she knows someone else is looking at the same sky. She signs her name in the document. Okay, so Silence is the reason why they're able to make the observation thing. I like how this is right before the Trag event. And GG. Man, out of all the games that I play, I feel like Nika is the most expensive when it comes to skins, and I buy them nonetheless! Because I have issues. I'm like, I want all my idol skins. Like, hiya, take this game, take this, take this. Cries a little bit on the inside. Take this! Yay, woohoo! All fear, all pain. Worth it though. Nah, the least expensive skin would be Fake Grand Order since he only uses in-game items, which I appreciate. Second cheapest would be Arknights. Like those two, you get it for free, which I appreciate. If it's free in-game stuff, ta-da! Beautiful. But the ones that cost money, ooh, ah! Like I'll shell out the money depending on the skin. I'm desperate. I will buy Ifrit's collab skin. She's worth it, she's adorable, she deserves it. File. Basic info, codename Ifrit. Gender female, combat experience, none. Place of birth, unknown. Date of birth, July 22nd. Race, Sarkaz. Height, 159 centimeters. Weight, 43 kilograms. Horn length, 25 centimeters. Tail length, 50 centimeters. I like how it has all the information for her. Oh, that is fun. Infection status. Crystals have appeared in her body. Infection confirmed by medical examination. Ooh, a second Monhun collab? Must summon more. Oh gosh. Question mark XC. Oh gosh, too many thingies. Codename, beep. Gender, female. Combat, none. Place of birth, unknown. Date of birth, July 1? Race, CM. Weight, 48 kilograms. Horn length, 12 centimeters. Tail length, 22. Infection status. Crystals have appeared in her body. According to... For tests, infection is confirmed. Codename Camaglio. Place of birth. What is this? Data. Height 1G. Oh gosh, it's button mash. Horn length. 7 centimeters. Infection status. Never touch her again. Okay. That's a file, alright. The end. Never touch her again. Physical exam. Physical strength normal. Mobility standard. Physical resilience normal. Tactical acumen flawed. Combat skill normal. Original assimilation outstanding. Profile. If it was once treated by Rhine Lab, she's suffering from a serious case of neuropathy. Her original adaptability is very high, and she's known to cause a phenomenon called multiple combustion. We have no records of her activities prior to her arrival at Rhine Lab. Currently, she's receiving treatment at Rhodes Island, with Silence serving as her guardian. Clinical analysis. Imaging tests have shown the outlines of her internal organs to be indistinct due to abnormal shadows. Originium granules have been detected in her circulatory system, confirming her to be infected with neuropathy. Cell originium assimilation 90%. Patient's body has exhibited multiple crystallizations with lesions appearing throughout the body. The patient's infection is currently properly controlled, and crystals show no sign of spreading. That is very high. Blood originium crystal density 0.51. Blood originium crystal density is slowly increasing and is currently being managed by a secondary treatment regimen carried out by the medic team. Archive File 1. Ifrit is a complicated operator, to say the least. What we currently know about her, before she transferred to Rhodes Island for treatment, she had already received a long period of treatment at Rhine Lab. Judging by Ifrit's current symptoms, we can at least tell that the treatment was unsuccessful. As one of the Rhodes Island medical team's more demanding patients, Ifrit primarily receives care from Silence. This is consistent with information currently available from their time at Rhine Lab. Even after coming to Rhodes Island, the two have maintained the close relationship they built when they were both at the other company. In terms of personality, Ifrit is a bit immature. She acts like a 6 to 10-year-old and is rebellious. impetuous, overconfident most of the time, even bordering on egotistical. She's extremely impulsive, ready to act the second an idea pops into her mind, no matter how dangerous it might be. On the other hand, the outstanding form her original arts takes must be supported. Brian Lab even created a flame-casting wand device to complement her talent. This gift pushed Ifrit to show off her abilities with even more bombast. In short, after daily observation, we can see that Ifrit is someone who easily gets caught up in her emotions. For now, she doesn't have the ability to distinguish between right and wrong, and she's quite immature. In an extreme environment such as a battlefield, her instincts push her to fight against and even annihilate all those who get in her way. As a result, even if she never intended to, she has saved many lives. Aww. Yeah, she's good enough to be smug. Archive File 2. According to the information that we have available, Ifrit is a member of the Sarkaz race. However, the structure of her horns and her tail are quite different from typical Sarkaz. Even though current research on the Sarkaz and their traits is incomplete, at least compared to this other Sarkaz present at Rhodes Island, Ifrit's characteristics are quite unique. The Sarkaz race maintains a particular talent for originating arts, and Ifrit's talent far exceeds that of most Sarkaz. According to these observations, it is probable that Ifrit's racial characteristics have undergone some superficial changes triggered by her empathy. It's also possible that the originium presence in her circulatory system is interfering with test results. These changes are irreversible and have proven an unexpected obstacle to the medical team's investigation. They are unable to determine which type of Sarkaz Ifrit is. In addition, Ifrit's medical records show that she suffers from chronic nerve pain and even occasional hallucinations. Records describe these hallucinations as enormous operations that are tremendously painful for her, or depictions of charred corpses and immolated animals, or close personal relations consumed by the sea of agonizing fire. The causes of these aberrations have proven elusive to all medical and mechanical analysis. It is possible that this ongoing torment is the source of her irascible character. In summary, Ifrit is an operator that needs close monitoring, even by Rhodes Island standards. Anyone who comes into contact with Ifrit should have full understanding of all this operator's basic information before the exchange takes place. Classified log. The record exists because Ifrit's physiological structure has already become quite peculiar. She was a Sarkaz, but whether she is still indeed Sarkaz, I'm unsure. The sudden feeling I have is difficult to describe. Potential. Archive File 3. Ifrit's flame emitter. Manufacturer unknown. Produced at unknown. Product number W0502. Identification code Rhine Lab, Department of Life Sciences. RHSKWD 117D3983CIR. Product description. This product uses compressed and liquefied originium as fuel. Pathogenicity strong. How to use. Paired with originium arts. It uses multiple ignition points to start a flame. Spray distance 15 meters. This object contains a large amount of fuel and that is flammable and explosive. Experiments cannot be conducted with this object without proper approval. Violators will be dealt with by the Security and Defense Division. Classified log. The flame emitter used by Ifrit is unquestionably one of Rhine Lab's finest works. What a wicked thing! It's impossible to tell that just a few cubic meters of the originium contained within this thing would be enough to infect an entire building full of people. The base construction division has already purified this object. As for how they did it, you don't need to know. Poor child. Who could have given her such a murderous thing? Whoever it was, they deserve a vicious beating. Archive File 4. Transcript of a dispute. I already learned how to control my powers. I'll show her. I'm gonna show her right now. Sari's gonna be so surprised when she sees me now. You can't. You have to understand. Haven't I helped the doctor enough? There's lots of stuff I know how to do, right? I know my powers can. The doctor told me so. Ifrit, go back to your room, now. Okay, please. Oh gosh. We've discovered liquid originium we call Oka. Yes, like who's gonna tell them? Oh no. June 21st, Rhodes Island Medical Department, Dr. Silence's office. Classified log. Doctor, I see this message is private so that only you can read it. Ifrit, that girl, she truly does like being around me. Although she causes a lot of trouble, I'm sorry, Doctor. I know Ifrit can take things too far sometimes. But she learned a lot from you, from your guidance. She's trying to get better because she senses your expectations of her. You're expecting her to change, right? The way you treat her makes it feel like she isn't so different from everyone else. For the first time in her life, she's no longer a child who has been forcibly separated from everyone else. She's learned to laugh, not the kind of smile that terrifies everyone. It's not a scary smile. That was the first time I saw her give me, and anyone for that matter, a real smile. She's gradually getting used to this life. It's very rare to see her depend on someone like this, even if she hasn't realized it yet. Thank you, Doctor, and please, help this child. Help her find some happiness in life, even if only a little. Aww. That is such a bittersweet letter from Silence. Promotion record. About before, when I burned those books in your office, I'm really sorry, and I'm sorry for putting all those holes in your uniform. Is this how I'm supposed to apologize? This is a good apology, right? Well, I'm going back to my room now. Anyway, I won't come see you again until I've got myself under control. Doctor's office. A rough paper with Ifrit's crooked handwriting, a broken fountain pen, a burnt book, and some candy offered as an apology where you were left at your desk. I wonder what kind of candy she gave. Candy. I accept. Nom nom nom. In Texas. Ifrit hadn't heard that dumb tud of Lard's voice in her head for the longest time. Dumb tub of lard. Wow. Yeah, Silence, I'm also teaching to control her arts by boiling my cup noodles and also teaching her proper respects. Yep, making dominance by eating boiling hot noodles. Erin's names that leaked past the door are entangled throughout her memories of the past. Pain mixed with anger, an anger that took her to Fantasyland, a friendly-looking old Cabernet putting her on a sickbed, her hand trying to reach out and hold something, searching through a ruin and a blaze, scorched black, and something that feels like feathers. But in an instant it's gone, and nobody ever pulls her out. Little friend, you've caught fire again. You know, raging and screaming won't lessen your pain, nor will it ever solve anything. Can it? All you do is talk in my brain and make my head hurt. You don't know anything! But I can feel those pinpricks in your arms. I've been able to feel them treat you as a monster since long ago, even you yourself believed it once. That was Odd Stupid Goat's fault. He turned me into this. You resent Silence. You know she knows your past, yet she won't let you flame roast that stupid goat yourself. Silence isn't wrong for that. What do you know? I'd never blame her. But your emotions still boil with wrath. Did you decide that you could sneak away now that no one here binds you to a table anymore? And once you find that old goat, you'll beat his face to a pulp, burn his whole laboratory down, and then... I'm not gonna do that. I don't need Silence to tell me not to, because I know that would be wrong. It's not that I wanna kill him. I don't know. Still, why can't I? I've got fire. I'll burn it all. Hello? You're shaking. You're recalling the days that inflicted so much pain upon you. So stop. No. Once I can control this fatso for real, I'll get to protect everyone, and Silence won't be like this anymore, and she won't fight with Zarya either. And Daria can. You're crying. Shut up. It's not your fault, little friend. Then whose fault is it? Who am I supposed to blame? I'm not supposed to burn that stupid goat up, so who do I blame? The voice dies down, no response anymore, and even the headache flags somewhat. I still don't know. Maybe someday you'll be able to separate the rights from the wrongs. Your experiences will tell you how to decide your own standards. You want to abide by them, and then you'll do the right thing. My head hurts, Shaw hid your charcoal grill in a corner of the depot under the stairs. Mint has some books she'd like to share with you. Beeswax has a bottle of fragrant perfume. And if you visit her, she'll be all too willing to coat your horns. You know how mighty they all are. You want to protect them. So too do they want to protect you. So what about the big fat talking balloon? It still worries you. I'm scared. Fear can't limit you, Ifrit. The pain brought about by that voice is fading away. She looks across an expanse of white. Who's responding to her? Sleep, Ifrit. No longer can those flames burn in our dreamlands. You and I, we will soon find peace. Aww. And slowly the flames go out. The gargantuan being that occupied our dreamscape begins to wane. Its fires fading crystal clear. Atop sleeps the unconscious Ifrit, who feels pain no longer. The fire blends into her, the fire she has accepted. Aw, it seems like it actually cares for her. That's sweet. Like, sleep, Ifrit. We'll find peace. Thermoform memory. But before I read that, let me see what my dad texted me. What did you message, Dad? Uncle is here with booze. Thanks for the message, Dad. I thought it was gonna be something like, dinner's ready. But no, it's Uncle's here with booze. I'm gonna respond. I'm gonna be like, what kind? That is too funny. What kind? And put the eyeball emoji. That is so random. Okay. Now for thermoformed memory. Ifrit has been plagued by nightmares of late. There is still fire. Ifrit is familiar with its warmth. It is the warmth of memory. That fatso is still there. That fatso. She remembers arguing with that a long time ago. It said that fire was a force of destruction, so that it was born to consume all things. Ifrit seems to hear its voice again. Shut up, Ifrit says, but swallows the words that should have followed. I'm doing something else with the fire. You just do your job. Ifrit can feel the heat, but is no longer oppressive, no longer urging her to burn everything around her. It has been a long time since Ifrit had a fight with that fire. Flames no longer sprout from her fingertips and horns out of the blue. She still has those burning dreams where flames devour her charred buildings, but she knows it's just a dream. The flames in the dream cannot hurt her or others anymore. Ifrit would not allow it. The nightmares do not come from within herself. Ifrit watches as the flames embrace the glass, slowly turning it orange-red. They expand with the air, and the glass gradually forms the shape of a body and limb. The fatso has some skills, Ifrit thinks. As a tiny feline begins to take shape in the flames. Rosmontis often told Ifrit about her own dreams, a lab in her ice-cold nightmares filled with strange instruments, with a long corridor outside. She's dreamt of walls being cut open like potatoes, the ceiling and the floor torn to pieces, iron pipes crushed into a ball. She said that she was not alone in the dream. The doctor was there, Muses was there, and Ifrit was there too. She said that her friends were in danger, and that she wanted to destroy the danger. She said those nightmares had no ending, perhaps. She was meant to see someone or do something, but she always wakes up before she could do so. Ifrit has heard Rose Island and Rhine Labs say that Rosmontis' cognition is being rebuilt. She is working hard to rebuild her memories, like how she worked hard to build a castle with the sand that day on the beach. Those painful memories would become part of the castle too. But memory should not be cold, at least. When we touch our memories, we should feel the hand of our friend, and we should feel that it is warm. The warmth of memory should be the warmth of fire. Just know this, your friends are waiting for you at the end of the dream. Ifrit says to Rosmontis. Since that day, a tiny glass feline has been sat by Rosmontis' bedside, and a warm flame has burned within her heart. Aw, that's sweet. I like that. That's a wholesome friendship. Must protect them. I like that. That is very sweet for Ifrit. Like, I'm glad she's doing a lot better now. Rosmontes and Ifrit are so cute together. Like, that's a really wholesome friendship. Like, what? Rosmontes, you have nightmares too? No worries, I'll help you. Makes her a present. Cute! And now let's see how insane Ho'oheak is. Okay, Ho'oheak. Ma'am. File, basic info, codename Ho'oheak, gender female, years of service 6 years. Place of birth Colombia, date of birth July 12, race undisclosed, height 171 centimeters, she's tall. Infection status, medical tests have confirmed that no infection is present. Physical exam, physical strength excellent, mobility excellent, physical resilience standard, tactical acumen excellent, combat skill outstanding, Origini assimilation excellent. Dang, look at how high her stats are. Profile. Yeah. Surprising, right? Profile, a former Mainlander Foundation agent, she joined Rhodes Island on the recommendations of Dr. Kelsey and the Doctor. Her proficiency in fighting solo and adapting to all kinds of extreme environments has proven invaluable to her myriad covert operations. Clinical analysis. Imaging tests reveal clear, normal outlines of internal organs, and no abnormal shadows have been detected. Originium granules have not been detected in the circulatory system, and there is no sign of infection. At this time, this operator is believed to be uninfected. Cell origin assimilation 0%. Operator Ho'oheak shows no signs of originium infection. Blood originium crystal density 0.11. Operator Ho'oheak has a great understanding of originium's properties, as well as how to protect herself from them, and we recommend that other operators follow her example. In short, she's very healthy. But as for her lifespan, the medical department will produce a special report elaborating on the topic later. Warfarin. Yeah, I wonder if it came with a ritual for her. Or if she's just naturally super strong. Archive File 1. My colleagues and I have been left quite perplexed by Ho'oheak's arrival on Rhodes Island. At this point, we're just lying to ourselves when we talk up Rhodes Island's apolitical stance. We have many contacts with close ties to government bodies from multiple countries, and some even visit the landship from time to time. She even used to be one of the Mainlander Foundation's top agents too, manipulating Columbia's gigantic shadow from within. Even though she has technically left the organization and we've somewhat restricted her access, her background alone lets her know of their existence, and she may have already obtained some intel. This is evident from her rather contemplative expression as she flips through a list of our operators. Furthermore, she usually applies to operate solo on most of her missions. Perhaps this is a habit from her secret agent days, but it's quite worrisome that she does not seem willing to mingle with the others, or even to adjust to life on Rhodes Island. Of course, this would also be how she expresses her goodwill. She understands that what sort of apprehensions her identity brings us, and has decided to flaunt it rather than downplay it, letting us decide how to treat her. To be honest, she has already demonstrated her expertise in espionage despite having only joined us recently. Our intel work will definitely increase in efficiency and quality if we are to trust her. In fact, she's already shared with us a little on how the Mainlander Foundation operates, which has definitely helped us somewhat, but has also left us even more confused. Operators over at HR have formed some divisive opinions on her, and it seems that they will refrain from remaining the trend for some time. Weekly report by HR Operator DE. Kelsey and I both have put much thought into the matter. Her position is much more complicated than you can imagine, but she'll do fine in terms of work. As for her relationship with Rhodes Island, Believe that to the doctor. A note by beep. Archive file 2. Oh? I've been wondering how to handle my interviewer. Well, in the locker room earlier, but I didn't expect that it would be you, Doctor. So, it worries you to have someone else interview me? Are you worried about them or about me? Heh, forget it. Our current relationship should be enough to let us skip the more trivial questions, no? You're asking why someone as smart as me would be seeking information on the mythical Ku'uku'kan? Did you also try this line on our cute elf doctor? In terms of social status in today's society, we surely the resources and position I held at the Mainlander Foundation were far more powerful than the Ku'ukukans, who exist today only in name, yes? Yes, I'm worried about myself. Let's say we disregard authority and just focus on raw strength instead. Could a Ku'ukukan in its prime handle a few Colombian army divisions? How many seconds could we last against a laser from SHAFT? Me, my parents, and each and every one of my ancestors residing in my memories, how could we pretend that the very same civilization we've all lived in doesn't exist? The fact that I can talk about this subject is proof enough that there's no actual curse forcing me to act this way. In other words, I could abandon this whenever I want, and so could my ancestors. Then why, oh why, do we not do so? Why do we continue the chase? That would be a perfectly normal response from a bystander's point of view. But for me, I've had this obsession lingering in my mind ever since I was born. My first word was neither Papa nor Mama nor Papa, but Ku'uku'kan. What a first word! So naturally, all my childhood education was ultimately directed towards pursuing the Ku'uku'kan. The mission is always in my mind, and the most I can do is ignore it for a short while. Do you accept it or ignore it? If you choose to accept, can you understand how it feels to spend your oh-so-short life chasing after something, only to end up with nothing, Doctor? Would you be willing to let it all be forgotten? Or would you pass on your mission to the next generation and have them inherit your pain, your anger, your pursuit? Honestly, it's more like a curse that we've put upon ourselves. Well, it seems like you managed to wrap your head around my words. Well, aren't you clever? Yes, even should we be able to ignore our mission, if we really didn't want to continue the chase. Indeed. The main reason why become a Ku'uku'kan has remained a desire until now is because of my choice to do so, our choice. History to us is a mandatory class. We've always been looking for an answer within it. And when we see through the dense fog and realize that we have been performing to no one on an imaginary stage, the modern history that is surrounded by towering walls, we lose all interest in the present. The more glorious a civilization it becomes as it advances with its technology, the more enthralling our legends become to us. To soar in the skies is their majestic forms, with the wind and thunder. To us, the word Ku'uku'kan means both the force of our might and the truth of our history. Call it superstition, habit, or just plain ignorance. I'll allow you the thought, Doctor, because I sometimes think the same. As we continue our pursuit of Ku'uku'kan, we also look for an alternative to free ourselves from our fate, but we always end up where we began. Until Kristen said those words to me. Let's call it a day here, Doctor. The rest, this is a secret that you'll have to work hard for. Recording of a conversation between the Doctor and Hoheak, number 1. A young Ku'uku'kan had to undergo magical surgery related to arts in which they are forced to have their collective ancestral memories implanted to their brains. Even though they proudly see it as a ritual as ceremony of heritage from the ancestors, it drastically reduces their lifespan as a grave consequence due to the permanent damage to their brains. Ooh. Thanks to the elderly bloodline, they have an elongated lifespan that allows them to live for several centuries, but gone now. Aww. Archive File 3. The Kuokans used to be one of the most powerful elder racers in Sargon. They could soar in the skies and harness the power of wind and thunder, and to this day still exist in the midst of some Sargonian tribes. And as someone who bears such a myth on her back, her current physical condition and originium marks assimilation are simply stronger than most, but that's about it. Okay, so they're naturally like super powerful. Soaring through the skies and harnessing the power of wind and thunder. Like, dang. Like, holy cow. Yeah, why record things through books when we can be the books? I wonder how Pepe would feel about this. It's like, oh dang, she's all the history? So much history! Like, tell me your story. And as someone who bears such a myth on her back, her current physical condition and originium mark assimilation are simply stronger than most, but that's about it. For someone like me who grew up in an environment full of lineages of glory and all that jazz, I can't say I don't understand her at all. But those kind of arts are simply too much for me. Manipulating such delicate things as memory, emotion, perception, and whatnot is no easy feat. As far as I know, only some of the oldest Sarkaz royal court records mention similar arts, and they're all difficult to work with and come with some kind of absurd price to pay. The arts of the Kuokokan are completely unrelated to those of the Sarkaz royal court, but rather a twisted product of some clue they found somewhere in the annals of their history. In fact, their elder lifespans are still longer than most people, even halved, but their lives will forever be incomplete. Did Hoheak have a childhood? Will she be able to enjoy retirement? In conclusion, it's neither a curse nor the damage to her physical body that cut half of her lifespan away, but the structure of her brain has been permanently altered. Imagine this, you're a newborn baby with a still developing body, and someone takes the opportunity to pour a load of information into your brain so it can be passed down to the next generation unforgotten. To put it bluntly, it's less about the arts themselves than the extremely inhumane brain surgery carried out with said arts. The one who invented this procedure was undoubtedly talented. Ethics aside, one can probably only cast that kind of thing on an infant. There is no way to simulate it to test my theory, but I think once an infant becomes self-aware, this crude method of importing information might not only shatter their mind, but also their very being. Such a procedure is practically unheard of, based on what I know of modern science and originium technology. And according to Hoheak, her inherited history began more than 4 centuries ago, so achieving such a fantastical feat was something you could only dream of in an era when medical science wasn't a thing yet. You'd also have to be a damn lunatic to even try it though. The chances of a procedure like that succeeding aren't very high, and I dare not even ask how many other siblings she had. Oh gosh! I'd wanna assume that they became so professional at doing it, they wouldn't have to worry about that kind of thing. Oh no! Even if there were other successes, the damage done to the infant's brain is irreversible. That's the main cause to their shortened lifespan, when its elders should rightfully be living longer than ordinary races. Their so-called legacy, past glory, and absolute power have turned their arts into a curse on their own bloodline, Warfarin. That is rough. Yeah. Archive File 4. But sheesh. That would be a rough question. Like, how many siblings do you have? Oh no. Archive File 4. Good evening, Doctor. Lovingly attached to your work as usual, I see. No, it's nothing. You shared with me how it feels to have amnesia, yes? I thought it was time we continued our previous conversation. Have you forgotten? If you have, I won't mind wrapping my tail around your neck to jog your memory. Oh yes, we stopped at until Kristen. We believe the past holds a truth, and that the truth would reveal our true future. She scoffed at our belief, stubbornly asserting that the past is worthless, but the present will lead to the future. She pulled me to her plan, and as it was nearing completion, she brought it up so casually. A life pod, I believe it was was its name. Anyway, she practically gave me all the data from the sarcophagi and told me, now, you can choose to lie in the sarcophagus and turn back into a Ku'ukokan. But she also asked me, will it really be worth it to sacrifice all your people's lives just to return to the past? The question has come up in our history too many times to count, but it's never caused a sense of self-doubt as it did then. And Kristen, she only came to this conclusion after learning everything, so I had to acknowledge it. I'm sure you know the rest, Doctor. I escaped from the Tin Man and rushed into the underground space, witnessed the fall of God, and brought whatever remained to you people. I obtained nothing from that death that had nothing to do with me. Questions, answers, the past, the future, nothing at all. Doctor, I've been on Rhodes Island for a while now. I now believe that you and Kelsey know just as much as Kristen does. What did you see down there underground? What did you hear and feel? Don't get the right idea now. I didn't look for you on Rhodes Island to find an answer. The answers from the past became meaningless when I stopped pursuing the Ku'ukokan. Kristen cruelly opened the doors of truth, leaving everyone behind, and my sole stroke of luck was to find the two of you standing in front of it. Right now, I find myself inexplicably smug, but on a lone boat in the middle of a vast ocean, and you, as the only lighthouse that can guide my way. Yeah, witness the fall of God in that cave. Do you want to meet the God once more? Brings up Kristen. So now, I'll give you a piece of good news and bad news. The good news is that my lifespan will have me dying before you do. As for the bad news, your existence will be passed down through my bloodline, and you won't be able to escape. Recording the conversation between the Doctor and Ho'oheak number 2. Promotion record, Ho'oheak's experience is a complete opposite of mine. I won't say understand her, I'm probably the least able to. If I had my kin whispering in my ear every single day, and could easily see what they see just when my life would end, I think I wouldn't fare any better than her. All I can say is, she has what I don't, and vice versa. But it's not the point I'm trying to make here, Doctor. Let's take you out of the question. Out of the equation, say that she's dealing with Kelsey. She still acts all cold and callous as if she cares for nothing, doesn't she? On one hand, it's true that she doesn't care for most things, but on the other, she has very carefully hidden away parts of herself. It can't go on like this. Companions should be honest with each other, right? So, I'll let you in on an exclusive scoop. You might have heard that she can usually be found in the intel processing room when not on missions, and she really does like to hang out there. So much so that a corner of the room has practically turned into her exclusive spot. Try sneaking in there in the middle of the night sometimes. If you're careful, you might even catch a view of her sleeping face. A note that randomly appeared on your desk with handwriting you recognize as Milsis's. What a nice message. That's cute. Bibliotheca. Ho'oheak needed to remove her complicated equipment in order to undergo her operator's entry medical examination. She also had to hand it over to the engineering department for routine checks. First came the exoskeleton on her back. The dull thud it made upon touching the ground attested to its weight. It was a prototype developed by Breathian Industries, an exoskeleton weighing a hefty 95 kilograms. Holy cow! She had to employ Originium arts to make it float, otherwise, she had no hope of donning it. Like, that is heavy. The exoskeleton carried an arts amplification device and possessed some offensive capabilities in close combat. The boxes on her sides contained various necessities. Though it might seem cumbersome in certain situations, most of the time it provided more assistance than a hindrance. What was even more important was that it was modeled after the wings of the ancestral Ku'ukokan. Her parents and ancestors all possessed a pair of these wings, made from the sturdiest materials of their time. She couldn't possibly remove hers. Next was the outer coat. This coat had been recently refurbished and used a new type of fiber developed by Volvord Koczynski, acquired through mainlander connections. Like the impenetrable skin of the Ku'ukokan's bloodline, the material of this outer coat was resistant to conventional weaponry. She carefully detached the tubes connecting the outer coat and the exoskeleton. These tubes circulated different fluids in various situations, nutrient solution, emergency medicine, and so forth. Yummy. Yeah, when Sara choked her, she can just put the hand away on her neck if she wanted to. She carefully detached the tubes connecting to the outer coat and the exoskeleton. These tubes circulated different fluids in various situations, nutrient solution, emergency medicine, and so forth. The Kuokokon were powerful and solitary. She also had to be capable of handling the most dangers alone. Lastly, there was a staff. The art unit came from a secret laboratory beneath the Mayliner Foundation, customized to complement her arts. She delicately removed a small box from the top of her staff. She didn't care whether Rhodes Island could steal the Mayliner technology contained in the staff, but within this tiny box lay centuries of Kuokokon history. Wings, skin, solitude. These were their burdens. But also their pride. They believed that when they shed these false adornments, it marked the moment they returned to the most primal state of the Kuokokon. And now, in an empty room, she stared at the box in her hand for a long time until an HR operator called her name. After a moment of contemplation, she didn't put the box away. Instead, she pressed it into the outer coat and walked out of the room. The time gallery of the Kuokokon. Very pretty coloring. Operator Special Affairs Approval Procedure HHY003. Operator Ho-Heak has demonstrated unusual concern for Fristen 3. Of course she's gonna be concerned about Fristen 3. She repeatedly requested his assistance in operations for no special reason. Yeah, totally, no special reason at all. And even came to engineering department without permission just to be able to spend time with Fristen 3 alone. Additionally, Ho-Heak has been spotted multiple times trying to reach the deepest levels of the ship recently by other operators. Comment: I'll modify and upgrade Fristen 3's facial expressions next, and all his work will be temporarily suspended. Report this Ho-Heak situation to Kelsey. She will handle it accordingly. Closure. Operator Special Affairs Approval Procedure HHY011. The day before, the Mayliner Foundation sent us a formal cooperation invitation. Ho-Heak took the initiative to approach HR and express her desire to become the project liaison, saying, "Am I not the one person at Rhodes Island most familiar with the Mayliner Foundation? Considering the political background and of the Foundation, as well as the impossible to ignore veiled threats within the inquiry, appointing a former director as a liaison may create unnecessary tension. Furthermore, we must also consider Ho-Heak's motivations. We cannot predict what action she might undertake while trying to shake off any lingering influences from her former company." Comment: approving Ho-Heak's application. Maylander's interest in Rhodes Island is more or less because of her, so sending her will simplify things for us. Also, since she has been with us for quite some time now, we can afford her a certain level of trust. Kelsey. Operator Special Affairs Approval Procedure HHY020. Regular targeted medical projects are underway. We've also established a team proficient in genetics, mysticism, and history, and everyone is enthusiastic. If only you join as well. The Kuokokon clan performs a congenital surgery on its newborns, an act that, while perverse, is fortunately not completely untraceable. If we're able to eliminate the profound effects of the procedure from Ho-Heak's body and psyche, the results would be absolutely groundbreaking across every field. Besides, time is running out, right? If what she said is true, the procedure will likely cause her death in her early 40s, meaning she's only a few years left to live. So that means she's in her 30s? She might want to, like, if she's in her 30s, dang girl, you're looking great. Good for you. And actually, I'll save Sara for tomorrow. I'm gonna bother Uncle and Dad out there. It sounds funny. I wanna see the chaos. So death in her early 40s. And she only has a few years left to live. So Hohyuk's in her late 30s right now. She might have once been a massive headache for us, but she's also one of our operators now, and we can't just sit back and watch her die. Warfarin, comment, granted, Kelsey. Operator Adaptability Assessment, Hohyuk. Operator Hohyuk seems to have well adapted to daily life on Rhodes Island. Hey, don't you think that's even more dangerous? Hohyuk's Specialized Badge. Very pretty. So is that how the Kuokukan used to look? It's based on the statue on top of her specialized badge? Because I can see the giant wings. Like, yo, her ancestors used to look like dragons. Well, that's cool. Very majestic. In light of special permissions granted, the Field Operations Department has hence passed the following resolution with respect to Hohyuk. Where the entailing mission would fall under Integrated Strategy scope, this operation shall be pursuant to tactics of a reinforced nature in meeting the enemy. In witness thereof, this badge is hereby conferred upon the above named. You are not worth remembering. Wow, that ending. You are not worth remembering. Thanks. How sweet. How nice. The next event's gonna be fun. Out of tonight, the one who wins in the end is actually Ifrit to me. Like, I think it's especially sweet how she wants to just grow up and become powerful enough to protect her friends and her family. She's like, I want to be able to protect everyone, and all Rosamontes is having nightmares. Let me make her present. Like, that is very, very cute. I like that. Oh, it's pretty good that we can start the event. Like, that'd be nice. But yeah, they're adorable. Holy cow, though, for Rosamontes. I didn't think about, like, her having a brother and that kind of thing. Like, oop. Let's see. My moves on my phone. Let me just get it real quick then. Doo-doo-doo. Because I know I'm logged into my phone. Load. Load, load, load. Okay, it's releasing neurotransmitter, it says. Doo-doo. 38%, not bad. 42%. 53, 54, 55. 69%, hey. Like, I'm glad it's pretty fast. You go, phone. 97, 98, 99, 100. Okay. Entering. Close out the event information. I don't need it right now. Okay. So my Mumu is currently at... Click. Not bad, 191%. So I feel like I could get her to 200 tomorrow. But yeah, 191, pretty good. A little time Hohyuk has, she's in her 30s. Now in current, in between the year of 1101 to 1110. We might get an event based on her. Ooh! Like, that'd be cool. Though, if it's gonna be her passing on the ritual to another of her kin, I wonder who it's gonna end up being. Like, that'll be an experience seeing the ritual. Good luck to the baby. Hopefully it succeeds first try. If not, oh no! It has to just be baby. But nah, she'll be fine. We just gotta believe. No fear, no pain. But yeah, tomorrow, finishing off the prep and probably starting the event. If Hoheak ends up having a child, I wonder who the baby dad is gonna be. I'm gonna judge him so hard. Like, that'll be a wild event. Or heck, even a manga. It'd be hilarious if there's like a little thing where it's like Hoheak's gonna look for a new husband. Now that would be a game show. The ultimate hunt for a new hubby. Like, I want to see her taste. Who would she end up like, what kind of person would she end up choosing? Like, that's what I'm gonna judge the most of. But yeah, now I'll be good and go out into the living room. Cause it's only been like an hour since Dad messaged, so I'm pretty sure Uncle Guys are still there. It'd be fine. So that being said, thank you everyone for stopping by the stream. I hope everyone has a great rest of the day at Gacha Luck. I'll see you guys later. Gonna be nosy now. Bye bye. Hehehe. And I know there's gonna be good food too. Cause Uncle's over. There's always good food when Uncle's here.